Vanakkam. Welcome back to our course on SAP Materials Management. In this session, we will discuss business partner, which is the first specific master data for procure to pay function, that is the materials management. The business partner function in SAP brings together the different and diverse business processes a company manages through a single transactions and with consolidated view of partners data. A business partner can have a role of supplier or vendor, a customer, a person, or an employee. A business partner can be created as an organization, as a person, or as a group. We will discuss various parameters in business partner concerning materials management and how to manage it in the system. Before going to this session, let us discuss the answers for the previous session. Is the production version mandatory in S/4HANA? Yes, it is mandatory. Then we discuss what is the purpose of bill of materials in procurement. It is to handle the subcontracting process. One metal can have more than one production version, true or false. It is true, right? Because one metal may have different bill of metal or may have different routing. So we need to have different production version. Is it possible to create a production version in mass for many materials? Yes, it is possible through a program. Please refer the previous session for the program and details. While creating a production version for subcontracting, which data have to be linked through production version? Here we need to link the material and its bill of material. There is no need of linking routing for the subcontracting purpose. After completing a detailed discussion on metal master and bill of materials, we will discuss business partner in detail in this session. So what are the master data required to execute procure to pay functions, that is the transactions in materials management? Metal master record and vendor master record, that is called as business partner now. They are the most important master data in the procurement process. Combination of material and vendor forms purchase info record. Source list is created by combining material and purchasing info record and the scheduling agreement. With this, we create the source list. When we create purchasing documents, the system facilitates data entry by copying the data from existing master records as default values into the purchasing documents when they fetch the details. It also copies data such as unit of measure, material short text from the metal master record, and the data in the vendor master, that is the business partner records, include address and payment dates. And we can store data for particular material, for example, delivery time, purchasing price on a vendor basis in the info record details. Bill of materials and production version are created for materials involved in the subcontracting process. So let us start discussing business partner in this session. A business partner can be a person or group of personnel or an organization having some interest in the company's business. We may create business partner in different business partner roles. During the course of business relationship with the company, a business partner can assume many business partner roles. We do not need to create the general data which is the same for all business partner functions. All business partner function means these include supplier, vendor, or customer, or individual. Until SAP ECC, that is an ERP, one supplier or one customer could only be associated to one vendor account group. And with the business partners, multiple roles can be associated to the same business partner. In S/4HANA, the business partner has become the leading object and the single point of entry to maintain supplier and customer master data. This approach makes master data maintenance easier and achieves harmonization among various business functions of the company. Maximal data sharing and reuse of data lead to easier and simplified data consolidation. Compared to SAP ERP transactions, maintaining supplier and customer master data through business partner offer many advantages. A person or group of personal or a legal entity is represented with one business partner. A business partner allows maintenance of multiple addresses for various users. Multiple relationships to the same business partner can be maintained. The general data of business partner is available for different business partner roles, while specific data is used for each role. Time dependency at different sub-entities like roles, address, relationship, those things can be maintained. As a result, we use the same business partner for different applications. For example, when we create a business partner like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a customer in a customer role and as a vendor in vendor role, in this way, business partner can play multiple roles. Customer vendor integration for a business partner is mandatory prerequisites for SAP S/4HANA. Until ECC 6, the following transactions were used to create vendor, like MK01 for purchasing, XK01 for central maintenance. In S/4HANA, BP is the business transaction code to create the business partner. Even if you use MK01 or SK01, it will be redirected to the T code BP. Please note, due to the tight integration between MM and FI in various parameters in business partner, it is strongly suggested to configure and set master data for business partner with the finance user or finance consultants. In accounting, the vendor part of a business partner is regarded as the company's crediting business partner. The business partner master record is therefore maintained by accounting and purchasing. Each user department can maintain both general data and purchasing data and accounting specific data centrally or decentrally. In addition, purchasing often maintains data at the corporate group level also. Data on the business partner is subdivided into three categories from a procurement function point of view. First is the general data, then FI vendor company code, then purchasing organization data. General data includes the vendor address, bank details, and this data is valid for the whole client. Business partner as a FI vendor comprises data such as number of reconciliation account, payment methods for automatic payment transactions, and these are maintained at the company code level. Also, we can block a vendor master record if the quality of the vendor's product is poor. And then purchasing data includes purchase order currency, Incoterms, and vendor's tax details. This data is maintained for each purchasing organization. We can also maintain different data as a plant-dependent basis for or vendor sub-range. We can block a vendor for individual metal via the source list. When creating a vendor master record, we have to enter account group as a part of financial accounting. The vendor account group is a way of grouping vendors with the same number range and same attributes entered. The account group is defined to allow certain fields to be seen and maintained on the vendor master, that is the business partner. The vendor master record is especially relevant to purchasing organization. When you create a vendor, purchasing user determines what data associated with the vendor is relevant only to single purchase organization. A one-time vendor record can be used for a vendor that is only used once or very rarely. For example, there is a need for a metal on emergency basis, and there may be a supplier who will not be able to supply the metal on time. In that case, you may be going for a specific vendor. So you need to create some specific masters of vendors for those one-time vendors. In contrast to other master records, we can use the vendor master record for several vendors, this one-time vendor. Therefore, no vendor specific data is stored for one-time vendors. Such a record can be used for number of vendors, which reduces the amount of data entry and data maintenance required. Companies can also use one-time vendor records for travel, expense reimbursement, and vendors that cannot accept the company's purchase orders like this. A one-time vendor record is also created the same way with the transaction BP. The difference is the one-time vendor uses a special account group. That is the difference. One-time vendor records do not usually contain any significant data or any bank or financial information. But please note, many companies have policies in place to ensure that vendor master records are not created for one-time or limited use vendors. Transaction BP is not located in the Materials Management section in the menu of the S/4HANA. Instead, it is under SCM Extended Warehouse Management, and the menu path is shown here. Please note that we may find still the old transaction codes to create the vendor master like XK01, MK01 in the Metal Master Management section, but by clicking them, system will bring us to the transaction BP only. With the transaction BP, we reach the home screen as shown here. Please take note that there would be numerous fields in Business Partner Master. We will not discuss all the fields here. Instead, we will be discussing the key fields required to run the basic procure to pay process. After the training, the listeners are suggested to explore further to identify what are the relevant fields required for you. So now coming to the point, before creating a business partner, an option is there to search for any previous business partner data, whether it is there in the system or not. Using the search option, we can find out existing business partner with search terms. If it is already there, then we need to extend the required role. If it is not there, then we need to create a new business partner. So that is why that search term 1, search term 2, these things have to be defined with a proper logic so that whenever we need to search, we can search them easily. Please take note of it. And the top menu bar provides options for creating an organization or a group or person as a business partner. For training purpose, we create a business partner for an organization. To create a new organization as a business partner, click on Create Organization. Now we are in the general data screen of a business partner master. First, we need to select the group from the drop-down menu. A classification is assigned when creating a business partner. This grouping determines the number range. This group cannot be changed later for this business partner. While creating a new business partner, that create in BP role, it will come automatically as 0000 business partner general. But still do check and ensure to select it at the time of creating the new business partner. The general business partner information maintained that will be replicated in all subsequent business partner roles that are created. Some of the fields will appear on multiple screens and tabs also. So now let us start discussing each one. In the address tab, we will have many details which have to be filled, like the name, title, telephone, address, many things we need to fill. So the field here that which is the title is the title of the vendor. If the vendor is a company, then select company option. Otherwise, select the appropriate salutation. Name of the vendor should be consistent to avoid any duplicate vendor entries. This is very carefully to be managed. The purchasing department should create a template to follow so that vendor names always appear the same way as entered into the vendor master. That has to be there. So that is why we need to maintain a register or something so that we follow the proper logic. The consistency will benefit purchasing users when searching for the specific vendors. I told you, such terms 1 and 2. When they are structured properly, we can search the vendors so that we can avoid creation of duplicate vendors. Also, there should be a clear company policy to enter a search term that indicates the first 5 characters, maybe example, it may be a name, or 2-letter maybe a country code, like that, some logic which has to be addressed. Then there are details like a street address, house number, country, region, postal code, all these things have to be filled. Also, if there are some tax related things are there, based on these details, some external system also can talk to the system and determine which tax is applicable to this vendor. Like this, we can use these details here. Continue to fill in further details. Again, as I told, please note some are mandatory. So PO box address is that many companies use the PO box offices. Then communication field should be kept up to date. This is very important. It is not that we create a business partner one time then forget it. We have to keep updating the communication details, because anyone who wants to see that, they should go and refer this system. They should not depend on the what is that phone number, what is that email ID. Like this, people should not go and search. And whenever we are creating one business partner also as a customer, then customer field, which is not appearing here, when you are creating a business partner or customer also, customer field also will appear, so that the users can enter what is the customer code for that and maintain here, so that they can refer it. This is the customer we are having. Then trading partner. If a vendor is part of an independent company that has been designated in FI for consolidation purposes of this organization, then you can enter the company in the field as a trading partner. So that is what now we told, that any details which has to be filled in discussion with the accounts team. Now we are in identification tab. Identification, where we fill the organization's legal entity details like a corporate, private limited, bank, insurance, etc. And then industry describes what is that industry of that vendor, like it may be commerce, banking, services, industry, healthcare, or public sector, whatever it is. Then external business partner number means it is a business partner number from an external system or the legacy system. And then identification type is for classifying the identification numbers. So there are many types are there. Those things can be explored further. Continuing the parameters in the identification tab, now we are having the tax numbers. Tax numbers are the fields which allow the accounting user to enter tax identification number or the numbers multiples of the vendor. If it is an individual, then in India it will be like Aadhaar card, PAN numbers, those kind of things. In case of United States, the number is employer identification number or social security number. If it is individual, if it is organization, we'll have the details to enter here. Next, we move on to the control tab in the general data of the business partner. Here we fill in the details like business partner type, which is used to group the business partners according to the predefined criteria. And also there is authorization group, which is to authorize to process the business partner further. Then the payment transaction tab, which is having options for maintaining the bank details and the bank payment details of the vendor. Bank details section allows the entry of vendor bank details. More than one account can be added for each vendor. Also, there is an option to enter the country details, and the bank key details also can be entered. For example, in India, IFSC code has to be entered like a bank key, or the bank routing number in US, or a bank sort code in Britain. Like this, details can be filled. And there is a bank account field where the accounting user to enter the bank account number for the vendor, which is having 18 characters length. If the bank account is not the same as of the vendor or vendor company, then the account holder of the bank account can be entered. By this, there are many other details here. These things have to be discussed with the accounting team. You have to collect the details and you have to update this master. The status tab is showing many options like blocking or locking a vendor. Vendors can be blocked for a variety of reasons as required. Often, a vendor is blocked due to poor adherence to delivery date, unsatisfactory material quality, or outside the market events. We can block a vendor account, which can stop any further purchase orders from being placed with the vendor until the vendor master record has been unblocked. After maintaining all the necessary details for a business partner, save your entries. System will create the business partner by assigning it a number. Like this, we'll get the message business partner 98041 created. After completing general data, next we need to extend business partners as FI vendors. As shown here, go to change mode of the business partner. Choose the standard business partner role FIBN00, that is FI vendor new, available from the change in BP role field drop down list. Now the system will bring up additional fields and tabs. Next is choose the company code, right? Then press. Based on the grouping we selected in the initial step, the number range is shown as internal here. Once we save this business partner, we will get the vendor number. Enter the company code in which business partner has to be created and press this company code button. Here we will see the list of company codes there. It is in the system. Now we are going to have this company 1004, select it and adopt it. Here we can see with the green tick, the company code is adopted. Then we need to maintain the reconciliation account field for the vendor, which is mandatory. When a business partner is created, reconciliation account must be maintained. The reconciliation account is a general ledger account in general ledger accounting. It maps a company's liabilities towards vendors in GL accounting. Also, when we are entering the invoices, you enter the vendor and system uses the reconciliation account from the business partner record. That is how the link is created. So that is why we also told no to maintain the data between purchasing and accounting team members. Also, it is suggested as the best practice that the business partner master data has to be created by the accounts team to ensure all finance related details are captured for the proper flow of the details into the final accounts. They need to collect the required details from purchase and sales teams to create this master data. See, what we are insisting here is even the business partner creation itself should be primarily responsible with the finance team. They should collect details from purchase and sales. That should be the best practice suggested. The same tab, the vendor account management, scroll down to maintain further details like interest calculation indicator. If this account is suitable for automatic interest, then interest calculation indicator has to be selected. Then interest cycle. This field allows an accounting user to select a period that specify the interest calculation is run for the vendor. What is the period? The period may be monthly or quarterly or yearly. Further details like withholding tax, those kind of details have to be filled with support from the accounting users. Next tab is payment transactions. Here we enter the details related to the payment terms. The payment terms are defined to allow the vendor to offer cash discounts or favorable payment periods to the company. The payment terms on the vendor master record are maintained by the accounting department and they are configured if the payment terms are not found in the system. Then tolerance group is a percentage or a value that represents the limit to which a delivery or payment that is an event can deviate. For example, a tolerance of 10% on a line item that is expected to deliver 100 units will allow a delivery of 109, which is under 10% tolerance. A delivery of 111 won't be allowed because the value is over the 10% tolerance limit. A tolerance group is a set of tolerances that can be configured and assigned to the specific vendor if required. Each tolerance group is defined for unique to the company code. Then check flag for double invoices. This has to be set, the double invoices. This has to be set if the accounting department wants the system to check any double or duplicate invoices when they are entered. In the same tab, scroll down to the next section, automatic payment transactions. Agreed payment methods captured in this field are used if no payment method was entered in the line item. If there is a need to block the payment to the vendor, the payment block field is used. There are other details like house bank, individual payment indicators, bill of exchange limit, etc. These are recommended to be explored further by listeners along with the accounting users. Now we are in the next tab, vendor correspondence. Normally, dunning involves sending reminder letter to the customers for payment. To customers to the payment. In this case, dunning relates to the remaining vendors to deliver the materials from purchase orders. The dunning procedure field can be selected to reflect how dunning should be carried out for this vendor. If a dunning block is selected, then the vendor is not selected for the dunning run. The dunning block can be entered at any time. Like this, we have other fields like a dunning recipient, legal dunning procedure, last dunning date, dunning level, dunning clerk, etc. If a dunning clerk field is blank, then the dunning clerk is assumed to be the same as the accounting clerk. So listeners are suggested to explore these fields further. Further scrolling down the vendor correspondence, we reach the vendor session on the correspondence. Here we capture the details which are related to the accounts. Here the account with vendor, if it is known, account number of the vendor has to be entered here. This is often found in the vendor's invoice. Then vendor clerk information. It is related to the information concerned to the person who is managing the day-to-day operations between the vendor and the company who is dealing. An account statement indicator allows accounting department to define when the vendor will receive the periodic statements. It may be weekly, monthly, or yearly. Under the vendor block tab, the vendor can be blocked in different levels. So you can check which is required for you. Accordingly, you can block the vendor. Now we are on the withholding tax tab. The withholding tax code generally refers to the income tax on foreign vendors from other countries and applies to the vendors that do not reside in importing country, but they derive income from profits, interest and rentals, royalties, other income from the sources in the income country. The company in importing country is a withholding agent. An income tax of a certain percentage will be withheld on income by the company from importing country, which should turn the amount of taxes on each payment over to the local state treasury and submit a withholding income tax return to the local tax authority. Please explore the other fields like withholding tax country key, vendor recipient type, exception number, validity date, etc. Also, if the vendor is an employee, there is an option to capture employee's number in the personal number field. After entering all required details, press save to save the vendor. That is where the business partner is extended as a FI vendor. After saving, we can see the vendor number created and appear in the vendor field. This vendor code will be used to create further master data like purchasing info record, source list, etc. Please note that the business partner is 98041. Vendor code is 98012 here. Because this is different because of the customization done on the number range. If required, the number range can be set through configuration. So the business partner number and the vendor partner number will remain the same. Before extending business partner as FI vendor, we did not have a tab like vendor general data, etc. on the general data page. But after extending the business partner as FI vendor in change mode, press general data tab, you can capture other required details which are specific to the vendor to be filled in. Continue to capture vendor tax data details with the support of accounting users. Next step is to extend the business partner for purchasing. In business process, in the business partner BP master, purchasing data are managed at the purchase organization level. It contains details like currency, payment terms, Incoterms, automatic purchase order, supplier sales data, purchasing group, etc. Further, it is used to create the info record and then further following purchasing processes. To extend the business partner to purchasing, go to the change mode of the business partner. Enter the business partner role configured for purchasing. Here we use FLVN01 as a business partner role for purchasing. And then press purchasing icon or the purchasing button there. Enter the purchase organization and adopt. Now we need to maintain the relevant data for purchase organization. Order currency is a mandatory field. The order currency is to be used on purchase orders with this vendor, which can be entered in this field. The currency is usually that of the vendor's country or that of the purchasing department. There is another field, Incoterms, that facilitate international trade by helping vendors and customers in different countries understand each other. And then we have sales data. Sales data refers to the sales department person at the vendors who deals with your company. The sales data contains salesperson, which is used to enter the name of the person at the vendor who is the contact of purchases from your company. It may be a salesperson or it may be a sales clerk. And there is an account with the vendor is a customer number that vendor uses for your company. That is, he is using what is the number. This number can be found on the documentation from the vendor. The control data of the vendor is made up of a number of indicators that are used in the procurement function. Here we discuss a few indicators. ABC indicator is used for many objects in SAP. The ABC indicator for vendor relates to the amount of sales the vendor does with the company. ABC indicator is manually entered here. Then there is a field mode of transport, which is defined for each country. This field determines how the vendor transport the material. Then we have purchasing group, where who is going to deal with the vendor, that is there. And also there is a planned delivery lead time. That is the average time it takes for the material to be delivered from this vendor. If the vendor is supplying many materials, then which are having different lead times, maintaining the delivery lead time at the info record will be suitable. So like this, there are many other fields. Please explore them, whichever is required for you. So we'll discuss some more fields here. For example, supplier schema group. It is a calculation schema maintained in schema group field to determine the pricing procedure for the vendor with relation to purchasing documents. Then there is a sort criterion, which allows the purchasing department to sort delivery items from the vendor in a specific manner. For example, the default may be a vendor sub-range, or it may be material number, material group, or there are some other accounting numbers. Then pricing date control. It is used to determine the date on which the pricing determination will take place. For example, if the purchasing department decided to select PO date, then the new price is calculated when the PO is created with the vendor. Also, there is a confirmation control key, which is to determine which confirmation category are expected from the PO item. The confirmation control key defines the confirmation sequence expected from a vendor. The confirmation sequence specifies the order in which the individual confirmation defined in a confirmation control key, which are expected and which confirmation categories are to be automatically maintained. For example, confirmation control key 0001 can be configured to expect an order acknowledgement and a shipping notification. So there is a field called order optimum restrictions. This allows user to enter a key for PO based load building. This field identifies whether a vendor is included in the optimized load building or whether target values should be taken into account in optimized load building. So after entering all the required details, save the master data, then business partner is created, and also we are having the vendor numbers. So it is ready now to use for the purchasing process. Using transaction MKVZ, list of vendors can be displayed. You can find out who are all the vendors created in the system. So in this session, we discussed in detail about various functions of this business partner in S4HANA, general data, FI data, purchasing data, and different ways how to handle this, that different kind of details. Having the correct vendor information entered is very important when we want to order a material, and also it has to come properly. Any error in the vendor master may be costly with respect to money and also with respect to the time. So this is very important. Now let us go to the quiz for this session. Who can be defined as a business partner? What is the transaction to create business partner? What is the relevance of transactions MK01, XK01 in S4HANA? What are the three categories of data maintained in business partner? What is the significance of vendor account group? What is a one-time vendor record? How is it different from regular vendors? Who is responsible to create business partner? What is reconciliation account? What is dunning? At which organization level purchasing data are maintained in business partner? So these are the quiz questions. We will discuss the answers in the next session. The next session, we will discuss in detail about purchase info record. Meanwhile, create at least 2 business partners as part of the business case practice. And also please give your feedback to improve the flow and contents of our sessions. And please share with your friends and colleagues so that they subscribe to our channel to learn and gain benefit from these sessions. Thank you. See you in the next session. Take care. Bye.